I just tried filming this intro and I looked over at my monitor and I realised that I hadn't actually hit record. It's just gonna be one of those days, guys. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk about a brand new palette from Revolution Pro, which is the New Neutral Smoked palette. It's only the 4th of February, but oh my god, Revolution have just dropped so much stuff on us already this year. I can't actually believe how much stuff they've already released. Actually I can, because it's Revolution, so I really don't know why I'm surprised anymore. So yeah, Revolution has just sprung so much stuff on us, and of course I went and bought stuff because I'm off work for 3 weeks. I did 2 videos last month. I need to catch up, so I picked up quite a few bits. I'm really excited to talk about all of them, and I'm going to start with this Revolution Pro palette today. So Revolution Pro's drop seems to focus on an extension of their New Neutral collection. They had a massive drop of products back in June, I think, last year. A lot of the products had similar leopard print packaging, but when you search for New Neutral on their website, the only things that come up as part of the range originally are the eyeshadow palette, the 6 lipsticks that came out at the time, a brush set, and the pressed powder. So Revolution Pro have extended the range with 3 new eyeshadow palettes and an extra 8 lipsticks. Now, part of me really likes that they've extended their collection. I quite like it when brands have different ranges that are always cohesive and always the same size of palettes. You know, things like the Urban Decay Naked range or the Colourpop 9-pan palettes, or even like within Revolution, their little, is it the iconic or reloaded ones? I'm not sure, the little £4 ones. But the one thing I found a bit weird about this one is that I have made the assumption that the collection is called New Neutral because the palette that was part of the original drop was a dupe for the Huda New Nude palette. So now they've added to this collection, but the name kind of comes from Huda. I just find it a bit odd personally. Maybe it's just me. Let me know if you guys agree or not. I just thought it was a little bit strange. So I went with the Smoked palette from the collection. Out of the 3 palettes, it was the one that caught my eye the most, not least because it looks suspiciously similar to Nabla palettes. Now, I don't own any Nabla palettes, so I can't compare, but they recently released the Dreamy 2, and it's definitely a similar color scheme. There's definitely a lot of inspiration there. There's more eyeshadows because I think Nabla does 12 pans and this is 18. I wasn't as much of a fan of the other color schemes in the eyeshadow palettes, but I just think as a whole the 3 of them make a really, really nice Valentine's Day collection. The others have a lot of pink. This one's more like smoky, a bit more date night, so I am really excited to get my hands in it. Before we do that though, I am gonna jump into the boring details. So as you saw, the palette comes in a cardboard box, and then the packaging of the palette itself is also cardboard, and they both have this leopard print packaging similar to the one that was on the rest of the New Neutral collection, but this time it's in black. The palette contains 18 shades. It's cruelty free and vegan. The shelf life is 12 months, and as always we have the ingredient list here and your diagram here. 4 shades in the palette have got an asterisk next to them on the diagram, so they have a separate ingredient list here, and it says that those 4 are pressed pigments, so it's got the symbol to say that they're not eye safe, and then the other ones are eyeshadows. Now the only thing is, what shades are they? So it's shade number 4, which is this, you know what, I'm gonna get rid of the plastic sheet. Oh my god, I can't function now I've got my acrylics back on. There we go, so you can see the shades a little bit better here. So that's shade number 4, shade number 8, shade number 10, and then shade number 15. But 3 of those seem to be pressed glitters, so I'm really confused. So inside the palette we have a nice big mirror up here, and I have to say, considering this is cardboard packaging, this palette is really, really weighty. And then inside we have the 18 shades here. We don't actually have a lot of mattes in here. We have 1, 2, 3, and 4 mattes, and I think that's it, which really isn't a lot. I don't know how that compares to the other palettes, so maybe you're meant to use them alongside each other, like maybe one of them has more mattes. We'll see how it goes, but that was the problem I had with the Forever Flawless the chill one, the cannabis one. That's, I can never remember it. I just found that it didn't have enough mattes, and I think it still had more than this. So that should be interesting, but we'll see how we get along with it in the tutorial. In this range, the palettes cost £12 and each eyeshadow weighs £1. My comparison point for that is going to be the Forever Flawless range because they're just always my comparison point, but also because they also have 18 shades. They are £10 and each eyeshadow weighs 1.1 grams. So in terms of price, this one is more expensive and you're getting less product, so that isn't great. These eyeshadows had better perform really, really well. I guess it's meant to be their pro range. I guess it's meant to be more expensive, but oh yeah, not so impressed by that. I just want to get my hand into those glitters really, so I am gonna jump into some swatches. Now I know that some people don't like watching swatches, and I am really bad at putting timestamps in the description box, so I'm gonna put a time right here, so that if you don't want to watch this, you can skip straight ahead to the tutorial. So let's swatch these shades. The first one is the shade Void, then we have Emit, and then we have Diffuse. Actually, that Diffuse is a lot creamier than I expected it to be. Emit, on the other hand, is like really pigmented and really glittery on my finger, and then when I put it on my arm, not quite as pigmented. Next up is Trigger, which is very nice. I like the reflex it's got. Oh wow, actually that looks really, really nice in the mirror and just completely different from what it looks like on my arm. It's got an amazing green and orange reflex to it. Next up is our third matte, which is Fortify. I think these mattes look pretty nice. And then we have Vexor. It's a nice pretty shade. The only thing with pressed glitters in the palettes though now is that it is all over my finger. So next up is Holt. Can't say it. Next up is Holt, which is a lovely metallic denim blue. Then we have Smite, which is another pressed glitter. And then we have Muse. Oh wow, I really like the look of that one. Right, this is where I'm a bit confused. This is Tremble, which apparently is the same formula as the glitters. So it's like a more purpley version of the shade we had here. Then the next one is Fuse. Ooh. Oh, the metallics in this are really nice, to be fair. And then we have Octane. It's a really interesting mix of colours, and those metallics, really, really nice. Oh, okay, right, I'm excited about the next shade. In the pan, it just looks like a white, but actually it's a really nice duochrome pink. And the reason I'm really excited about it is because of the Subculture palette, which had a shade called Cube in it. Cube looked white in the pan, but was actually meant to be a white duochrome, but has this horrible, unusable texture. This just looks really pretty. It has a really nice reflect, and it looks a lot easier to use, which is what I want. The next shade is Sepia. I don't actually know how you say that one. Then we have our final glitter, which is Ignite. That's a lovely glitter colour. And for our final three shades, we have Quell. Then we have Smolder. Okay, so I think Smolder is actually a matte shade, which I didn't think it was earlier, but I'm really pleased because it's like a nice matte. I was gonna say black, but I think it's more like a very dark matte grey. And then the final one is Aroma. That's a nice blue. Do I have any blue like that? I feel like it's quite unique. It's not usually a blue that's included. Normally it's like a really strong royal blue. So yeah, that's the third row in the palette. A couple of the shades like Fuse. Fuse reminded me a little bit of a shade in the Anastasia Prism palette, which was a previous holiday release. So yeah, basically actually I think this palette makes me think more kind of Christmas release than Valentine's Day release. But I think you're going to be able to get some really nice smoky looks out of it with like a pop of glitter like Smite or Ignite. So yeah, I'm gonna wash those off my arm and I'm just gonna jump into the tutorial because I'm really excited to find out how this performs on the eyes. So yeah, let me prime my eyes and I'll be right back. Gotta be honest, now I'm here, I don't really know where to start. I feel like I want to do something like really nice and smoky. Excuse me. I feel like I want to do something like really dark and nice and smoky, and I kind of want to start off with Smolder and then Aroma, but I'm already kind of stuck. Like, what do I then blend Aroma out with? Tough start. Also, I'm not sure what the difference between Emit and Quell actually is. There's not actually that much difference between the two, is there? Do they both need to be in there? Right, okay, yeah. I am definitely gonna start off with Smolder. I definitely feel like it looks slightly metallic in the pan, but it seemed to swatch matte, so it seems like a good colour to start with. I'm taking it on a Zoeva 231 and I'm just going to start popping that into my outer corner. It's definitely more like a really dark grey, but it's applying okay so far. I think I'm only going to take it halfway, but I think what I want to do is like a really nice winged out eyeshadow. Like I almost want like an anti-Valentine look. All the looks I'm going to be doing outside of YouTube for my Instagram, they're all going to be Valentine's looks, so I feel like this one should go the other way. I don't really see any patchiness or anything, but like I said, it's definitely more of a grey than it is a black. So I will say I've had like the teeny tiniest bit of fallout, which for such a dark colour really isn't that bad. It's just like a little bit just on my cheek. Okay, next up I am gonna take the shade Aroma. Looks a lot more pigmented. I'm taking that on another Zoeva 231. I'm gonna start blending, what was it called? I'm gonna start blending Smolder out with it. Okay, that's got a lot more fallout. I have to come and clean that up, but you can just see that's just dropped so much more. It definitely is a lot more pigmented and a lot more powdery. It picked up so much more product than Smolder did, so I would just be a little bit cautious with it. I am making sure I don't pick up as much when I go back into it. What I'm going to want to do is do a wing with the eyeshadow. Now I've said it, I'm probably going to mess it up anyway. I just don't really know what to say about this shade. Definitely more pigmented. I did have to go back in a few times to make sure it wasn't going patchy. I feel like so far something is missing in this palette for me in the matte. I feel like either I need a lighter blue shade to come out of this, which I think I'm gonna have to cheat and get from another palette because otherwise I don't know what to do next. Or if it had a proper black followed up by the grey and then followed up by this, I think would be really nice. But for me right now it's kind of missing something, and I'm gonna take another palette. I've picked up my Revolution Forever Flawless Ice, and I'm gonna go in with the shade Break on my Sigma E36 because it's like a blue greeny tone that I think is gonna match, I've forgotten the shade name, but it's gonna match the last shade quite well, and I wanted to stay within Revolution and not go for something new. So yeah, just taking the shade Break on a Sigma E36, and I'm gonna blend that out into my wing. I'm going to jump back into Aroma, bring it into the wing a bit more, give it some more intensity. I don't feel all that happy with it right now. I'm just going between the two shades, just making sure they're nice and blended in together. So I kind of want to use Void to soften it up, but that's just going to be too dark. If you are a bit darker skinned than I am, I mean not by much, but you could use Void to soften everything up, but where I am so pale, I am going to stay in the Ice palette, and I'm going to jump into Frostbite just on the Morphe M330. It's a really nice soft brush, and I just find that it just kind of helps soften edges up and neaten things up, which I think I need here. There we go, that's more what I wanted, okay. And I'm going to go back into the Sigma brush, a bit more diffused, there we go. Okay, that looks a bit better. Overall though, I'm not super happy with it. This is not at all the look that I was thinking of today. I already have some thoughts. I don't like the selection of mattes in this palette. I'm assuming that the idea is that you use it alongside the other two or even the other three if you've got the original New Neutral. You know what, they're £12 each. I'm not gonna spend £48 on 4 Makeup Revolution palettes. Let me do the other eye and then we're gonna figure out what we're doing with the lid, because right now just not the direction I wanted to take things in. The first thing that I'm gonna do is go back into Smolder, and I am just gonna deepen it again a bit, just because I feel like it got a bit lost. Go back into my other Zoeva brush, blend that out. So I think we were thinking of going out for drinks tonight, but number one, it's like insanely windy, but also I think I might scare the locals. I guess the question is now, do I cut my crease or not? Which ones of these shades do I use? I'm gonna cut my crease because I really want those shimmers to pop. So I'm gonna go and do that really quickly and then I'll be right back. And I guess I'll have to make a decision because I don't even know which one of the metallics I want to use because there's so many. All right, so I have now cut my crease. I feel like the wing does look a little bit patchy. Now, is that the shadows or is that me? It could just be my technique. I think the first shade that I'm gonna take is a Mitt. So I'm going to start packing that on the center of the eye, so the outside of the cut crease, and I'm going to go diagonally with it. This one definitely feels a little bit darker than Smolder, so I would say this one is closer to a black. And then I just like to go in with a smaller, slightly stiffer brush just for the top of the cut crease, just to give it a bit more control. And I'm going to go back into the Zoeva brush that I used with Smolder and blend the two out. Just gotten rid of that fallout really as well. I don't know what I'm thinking. That was a bad idea. Why did I not do this sooner? Oh, I think next to it I'm gonna take Tremble and I'm gonna pop that on kind of the middle third of the cut crease. See, now I'm not sure about what I'm doing and I think maybe I should have taken Holt. It's just so much more blue than my matte shades, which are more green. But then if I use Holt, is it gonna go with the next color as much? Oh, I don't know what to do. Let me make an attempt at removing a little bit of that color. Let's do Holt instead. Not making a massive difference because it is now layered over the other one. And again, with that smaller brush. I really don't know if switching shades has made any difference. Gonna take a little bit more of a Mitt and try and blend the two out a bit more. I have now got a lot of fallout on my cheek. Oh, this is why I hate doing my foundation before doing my eyes because I am just so covered in fallout right now. And for the last shade, I think I'm gonna take Vexa. Not quite silvery, is it pewter? I'm not sure. Oh my god. Oh wow, that is really dusty. It just went in my eye. Would quite like the shades to be a bit more blended in together though because right now they are not. I don't think I like this. I'm just kind of trying to blend to save my life here. I've just kind of brought Vexa all the way over now. You know what, I think that may have improved it. Just trying to make sure it's actually all blended in. I mean, I don't like it, but I'm also not mad at it anymore. Bringing Vexa all the way across has just helped tone everything down a bit. I think I thought for some reason that there would be more reds. I don't know where I got that from. There's one pink glitter and I've ended up with this. So it just really isn't the direction that I wanted to go in. But I am gonna do my lower lash line just because it's not that intense. I'm gonna start by taking my L'Oreal Infallible Gel Liner and popping that on my lower lash line as well as my waterline. So now that I've done that, I'm just going to take all of the matte shades, starting with Smolder, and just pop them on the lower lash line. I have just got so much fallout right now, I don't know how to deal with it. Everyone always says, oh, you can just dust off the fallout with a little brush. I've just made it worse. What do I do about this? Oh my god, it's everywhere. It's horrible. I'm very unimpressed right now. I could absolutely not recommend using this palette before doing your foundation. I think you'll have a horrible time with it. I'm gonna have to reapply some of my concealer. My under eye area looks absolutely horrible and blue. Really not enjoying this. I thought I'd taken off all of the fallout, but look at that. I've just got more. This is quite literally infuriating at this point. Okay, breathe. Right, I added some more concealer on, repowdered, and then I just finished kind of blending and softening out the edges. I do want to try another shade from this palette, and I think I really want to try Deceive because I was quite excited about that shade. So I'm just going to take it on a small pencil brush. I'm going to pop it on the inner corner. Okay, takes a little bit of building up. How have I still got this much fallout on the side of my nose? My skin looks blue. I'm sorry guys, I'm being really grumpy. But this look right now is making me grumpy. I'm wondering if it would look better if I added some gems. I don't know. Right, I'm gonna go off camera. I'm gonna finish this off. I might add some gems, I might not. I don't know, I'm gonna have a think about it. But I will be back after that and I will give you my final first impression thoughts on the palette. Okay, I've done the rest of the look. So I've ended up adding a bunch of gems to kind of fill out the wing a little bit. I didn't want to use liner, but I've already done a winged look with gems this year. I've already done a blue look with gems. I feel like there's nothing original about this. Gonna try and stay calm though. Gonna relax. Gonna stay calm. I used one of the Revolution Pro New Neutral lipsticks on my lips. Obviously, even though it's not one of the new ones, I kind of had to because it's part of the same range. Am I disappointed? Is disappointed the right word? I'm definitely underwhelmed. I literally had to go and use another Revolution palette to finish this look. I don't mind doing that in a look on Instagram. Like, I don't mind mixing palettes, but when I'm trying to do a review or a first impression, I want to stick to that palette, and I just didn't feel like I could. I feel like this palette just has some repetitive bits. Like, do we really need Halt and Tremble? Like, they are slightly different, and I know I switched between the two of them, but did we need them? Do we really need Emit and Quell? Those shades aren't identical, but I definitely don't feel like I need both of them. I just feel like they could have removed one of the blues, they could have removed one of the shimmery blacks and put in some more mattes. I'm just not really impressed. I do feel like this is a palette that will work well using it with other palettes. I managed to get something out of it today using it with the Forever Flawless Ice, but I don't want to purchase a palette to use it with other ones unless I am specifically purchasing a glitter palette, something like the Urban Decay Moon Dust. I know I'm not going to be able to use it on its own, but that's fine. I know I'm buying a palette that's only glitter. When I'm buying this, I expect to be able to do loads of looks by itself, and I don't feel like I am. I could be completely wrong. I feel like other people are going to manage, but for me it's just not really inspiring. I think this is one of those you will be better off swatching in store first rather than just buying it online like I've done. See if you actually feel like you are going to get use out of it, because I think Muse is gorgeous, Fuse as well, that glitter Ignite I really want to use. The two metallic blues are really nice. I feel like I need to use Trigger as well at some point, but I feel like I'd end up using it with something else. Also, the biggest issue for me was by far the fallout. I still have so much on my face, I couldn't get it off. If I was wearing this out of the house, if I was going anywhere with this, I would have started by doing my eyes and then my face. I would never do it the other way around, because that's what happens. Like, I've got so much here, I don't know if you can see it. Put some above my lip. How did it get there? How did it get that low? My under eyes now look cakey because I had to go in with more concealer. I am not about to leave the house. Yeah, just really underwhelmed. From a price point of view, the fact that this is more expensive than the Forever Flawless palettes and contains less product, not super impressed by this one. It looks nice, but I'm just wondering how much use I'll get out of it. I will definitely use this at least one more time on my Instagram. I will post a little bit of an update when I do to let you guys know if my thoughts have evolved on it, but as far as first impressions go, yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed because I was really excited about it. I feel like this look is almost a bit dull. Yeah, I think I've said everything I had to say. Anyway guys, that's it for today's video. I do feel like I am rambling on, so I am going to stop there. I really do hope that you enjoyed today's video, that you found it helpful with all of these Revolution releases kind of being thrown at us. There's my opinion on one of them. If you enjoyed the video, then do please make sure that you give it a big thumbs up, leave me a comment letting me know what you thought about it, and of course subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on my next video, and I'll see you all on the next one. Bye guys.